Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Karishma Chawla. I'm an orthopedic physiotherapist and today I'm going to discuss about the technological advances in physiotherapy. So as we know that we as physiotherapists have come far enough and are still evolving. We are evolving every day. We have been through a journey from what we were and what we are. We have evolved ourselves and we are still getting ourselves advanced and learning new technologies, learning new advancements in our field. So that our treatment, our diagnosis, our prognosis becomes much better than it was before. So it is only wise that we take advantage of the rapidly advancing technology these days. Technology is actually allowing physical therapists to deliver better care than ever before. A few of the technologies that I can recall of are like robotics. Role of robotics in rehabilitation are softwares and apps that we use to nowadays, especially in these days. And then we have artificial intelligence and virtual reality. So there are certain physical therapy available in physical therapy apps, I should say, or softwares, I should say, that are available in market, which provide an online platform for consultation and guidance, like in these days, like corona days, where we are not very comfortable in going out. Through these apps, the other person can give guidance to a patient. The person can exercise at his home with a professional, uh, looking at every aspect of the exercise, guiding that person. So these are just not a video call but a kind of softwares where there is a specialized camera which will detect any fluctuations in the body posture during exercise, any fluctuations in the mechanics of the exercise. So they are softwares which will detect the kind of fluctuations in your exercise protocol, and also it will provide an online platform for the consultation, for your written prescriptions of exercise and everything. So these are the platforms where we virtually interact with the patient. So then we have rehab robots. This will be talked about better in a more explained way by other speakers. But if I want to tell you that these robots are helpful in monitoring the progress of the patient and automatically increasing the exercise intensity, exercise speed. So these are kind of machine kind of thing that the person wears, which has sensors all over, and you can adjust the range of motion, you can adjust the resistance that you want that person to have. So and there are codes for what all movements that robot is supposed to do. So these are robots. These are best used if combined with virtual reality and artificial intelligence. Robotic assistant physical therapy will be discussed in more detail by the further in further lectures. So here I want to divert your attention to virtual reality and artificial intelligence. Virtual reality in physical therapy, as you must have already seen in neuro rehabilitation being used. So virtual reality, if we talk about in general sense, the first thing that will come in your mind will be that gear that you wear with and there is some kind of scenario going on and you feel that you are inside that game. So it gaming is the first thing that comes in your mind. So we as physiotherapists have successfully uh, been able to have that gaming kind of thing and that experience in our rehabilitation. So here, I am sure that you all must have seen virtual reality being used on neuro patients, where a person stands on a balance board with sensors being there, and then that balance and that person has to maintain the balance over that platform at the same time he's playing some kind of game on a monitor, and in that game there are perturbations, or there are certain perturbated events where that person has to maintain that balance. And there are balance sensors, then there are coordination sensors. So these are you must have definitely seen these things being used in neuro rehabilitation. But nowadays ortho rehabilitation has also started to incur this. In ortho rehabilitation, we have certain studies which shows us its efficiency, where this robotic session was given for like provided with 2 to 3 times of robotic sessions, and then around 2 to 4 times a week the person was given this robotic session, and then after that manual therapy sessions were given. So these patients showed a tremendous result as compared to those who were just given manual therapy, and even the compliance was more in these patients. So if we talk about the design of these robotic devices, so here, or these virtual reality devices which are generally combined with robotic devices. So here we have 4 modules. The first module will be your robotic component, maybe a robotic hand or robotic leg. The second component will be your VR game for motion task execution, so where the motion is going to take place. So then we have the therapist graphic interface, where how the motion is going to happen and what all obstacles, where the therapist wants to increase the obstacles, decrease the obstacles, or what kind of you want a linear motion kind of game, you want a oscillatory motion kind of a game, so that the therapist can decide. Then we have task difficulty adaptation model, where the therapist has a control over what level of difficulty that person wants, and the therapist wants for the patient. Like, you want more obstacles to be there, you want more resistance to be there, you want more kind of motion to be there, or you want to restrict the motion into some kind of range of motion. So there like for example, we have ankle rehabilitation. Okay, for ankle rehabilitation, the person wears the robotic leg and then places its foot over a force plate like platform which has sensors, and then a game is being played in which he has to drive a aeroplane, and there are certain hoops present, and that aeroplane has to go within those hoops. So but your motion of the aeroplane is being controlled by your ankle. So like in case the therapist wants to increase the dorsiflexion for the patient, so so whenever that hoop comes, that person is moving the aeroplane like this, and there's this hoop. Whenever the hoop comes, the person has to provide a dorsiflexion to go through that hoop. Again, that aeroplane comes down, and again there is a hoop. Again, the dorsiflexion is required to jump through that hoop. And then you want more range of motion into pronation, supination, so you can add that kind of movement to the game. So that is how it can be, the obstacles can be increased, the kind of movement required can be set in the software itself. So this is what is virtual reality. This is how virtual reality is being used. This can take place for your arm rehabilitation, your upper limb rehabilitation. You can have a game of tennis, and where the person has to do this movement or whatever, or he is driving a scooter and he has to do this movement. So likewise, you can have different movements in different scenarios in your gaming program. Then obviously then we have your artificial intelligent technologies being used. So AI, what is AI? AI is a development of computer system to solve problems associated with human intelligence. AI is being used when the information is so much that it is impossible for the human to collaborate every information. Okay, so here the AI comes in place, where it will make your work easy by collaborating every information and giving you a gist of the information. So basically, if we talk about AI systems, we have two types of artificial intelligence systems. One are narrow AI and one are general AI. Narrow AI deals with a specific kind of task. Okay, and general AI is going to work as a whole. Like for example, we have a task in hand for a robot that he has to do a pronation and supination movement. Okay, so this is more of a where the command is only to provide supination and pronation. So this is more of a narrow AI. Then general AI is that the person, the developer adds that he has to do this pronation and supination and then other movements, and then he combines different variables in that it has to have kind of some other variables like opening the knob, or where a combination of movements required, or a movement of the whole body is required of the robot. So here it is more of your general AI taking place. So for example, if I give you an example of artificial intelligence being used in our field, so we have an example of X-rays. So there a developer has made a X-ray or software where he downloaded around thousands of X-rays which were unlabeled first. Maybe they are knee X-rays, they are unlabeled at first. Okay, so after downloading or after putting those thousands of X-rays into that software, the radiologist will label those X-rays, like this is the femoral condyle. Okay, so this is the tibial plateau, and these are the fractures of the tibial plateau. This is how the fracture happened. This is how the arthritis changes happen. These are the specific features of the arthritis that will be seen on X-ray. So that is what is known as labeling of the X-ray. So the radiologist will label those X-rays and then categorize them into different categories. Like for OA, these will be the features, specific features that will be shown on the X-rays. Then for maybe ACL injury, these will be the features. Then for tibial plateau fracture, these will be the features. For some kind of tumor or cancer, so these will be the features. So that is how you can just categorize them into different formats, and then it makes the diagnosis very quick and easy. When the X-ray comes, the software will itself diagnose that what all features are there, and if that features matches the diagnostic criteria being set, and if it matches, then this is the diagnosis. Obviously it should be correlated, but it made your diagnosis very easy and the work of the radiologist decreases. Fine. So this is how artificial intelligence works. Then it can work to know about the prognosis also. So it has been seen in certain studies that artificial intelligence was able to tell or predict the occurrence of knee OA, which could happen in future around 34 months prior to it being happened. So it can give you an idea that this patient is having these features, so he is more prone to have knee OA in future. So you can start your exercises or start your rehabilitation early so that that person doesn't even get there. So this is how it can help you in prognosis or injury prevention. Then it can help you in injury prevention in case of sports injuries, like in general that a person is moving and the person is walking. There are gait kinet cameras. Okay, so in those cameras the developer has already feed in the information about every stand, every phase. So in case of gait analysis, there are sensors over the body. He's wearing a robotic device and then walking. So in that it is already fed. The information is fed upon what different phases of gait, what should be the angle on at every phase of the gait at every second, so that software can catch fluctuations on basis of every second fluctuations, so which is not possible for a human to do. So this is how it becomes more efficient in diagnostic purpose. Then in case of let's say ACL injury, we can predict, like I told you, there is a test where the person has to jump and land, and then at landing we have to see the valgus angle, we have to see the distance between the patella, then we have to see the distance between the malleolus, then we have to see the flexion angle between the between your hip and knee. So in these can be very easily detected by your artificial intelligence. It can see the valgus angle being changed while jumping, and you can have a predictive value. So this is how you can have these technologies being used in our daily practices, and we can put in large amount of information from different fields. Like there is some kind of diagnosis or some kind of information from orthopedician, or orthopedician has assessed something and given some treatment, then you go to physiotherapist, he has assessed something and given some treatment, then you go to the dietitian assessed something and prescribed something. So you have different fields that you go for one particular injury or one particular condition. You can have all the information together, or the person you or the doctor you go to next will have all the information at one place, which will make him to know your condition better and give treatment in a much better way. So this is how it will make your assessments and your treatments much better and more technologically advanced. Thank you.